The snow's been piling up all month long, and now you can start to feel the effects of cabin fever. Welcome back to another episode of the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I am your host, Jason. Thank you again for joining me. And the snow keeps falling, and the temperature keeps dropping, and winter has a tight grip on us right now. We just got more snow over the last weekend, and it was a lot of snow and a lot of wind, and it just keeps piling up out there. Let's be honest. I mean, February has been a brutal month, and it starts with all the accumulating snow that we've had and the brutally cold temperatures that we've had, and it just made getting outside so difficult this last month. I mean, the snow-covered roads have canceled schools. I don't remember my kids having off of school so much than they've had in the past month. It's canceled events. People working from home is starting to become a thing with as many snow days and as many dangerous weather days as we've had. Don't get me wrong. I like the snow. I like winter, and I like getting out and enjoying it. But that's kind of where the problem lies too. With all the snow and cold, it's really made it difficult to get out and have fun. If you're not out there just clearing your driveway, it's so cold that you just can't stand being outside. So yeah, it's been tough. And when you get to the point where you can't get outside as often as you want, cabin fever starts setting in. That's what we're talking about today. This past month has really had me thinking a lot about cabin fever and what you can do to combat it. Basically, we all really know what cabin fever is. It's just that itch and drive to get outside because you can't. You know, it's like telling a kid they can't have a cookie and that's all they want. They want that cookie. Well, it's so hard to get outside with the weather the way it's been that you're just itching to get outside and you just want to do anything outside to get out there. And it's really tough. And in some cases it was dangerous. So it's been kind of a cooped up month of February, and it made me think about, man, there's got to be a way to at least break it up a little bit so you can get outside. Unless you're a diehard person who does anything and everything they can to get out, you're not getting out to your favorite trails, and you're not getting out to the places you like to hike or even the places you like to fish. You know, even with all the snow, it's been difficult for snowmobile riders because they'll get the trails groomed, and at night the snow drifts back in and covers them all up. So they've been having a difficult time as well. I mean, they're getting out there, but not as much as they want to. So everybody is being affected by this, and I think cabin fever is kind of setting in with everybody. You know, I'm hearing more people about they're tired of winter already, and in some cases I am too. It'd be nice to go a couple weeks now without having to clean out my driveway, but this is what we have. So what can you do to get out of the house and combat cabin fever? In my opinion, just getting outside for 15 minutes is enough to help. And I know what you're thinking, but what can you do with 15 minutes of outdoor time? I mean, really, that's not that much. But I think sometimes a little bit is better than nothing at all. And just getting out of the house for just a few minutes, a day really helps. And depending on your situation and your activity level, you should be able to find something that you don't necessarily even have to drive to go do. But either way, you're going to have to bundle up a little bit to get outside and do some of these suggestions. So let's get started with my first suggestion. My first one is directed more towards homeowners. And that's just to do a quick walk around your home. Now, this really sounds easy. And it sounds like, oh yeah, that's not going to take me 15 minutes. But with as much snow as we have, it can be a bit of a chore to get around your house. But here's why I say this. And I know it sounds funny. Come on, really? This is your first tip. And here's why I say this. With the amount of snow we received this last month, it can pile up pretty fast. And then you add in the drifting snow and the wind, all that extra snow just keeps getting closer to your house. And what I do is I like to do a walk around, and it, like I said, it can take 10, 15 minutes, but I like to go around and check all my vents. And you should really be doing this anyway if you're a homeowner. Check all your vents, and that's your furnace vents, your dryer vents. If you have a gas water heater, make sure that those vents are clear. And just walk around and clear those out. And maybe there's snow piling up. Maybe you got a back deck or something like that, with the amount of snow we've got, it could be a lot of weight on it. But, go just clear up some of that stuff. Now, again, some of you aren't going to be able to do this because it can be a very strenuous physical activity. But it's really a good idea to be doing this, especially when we're in these big storms like this. But take a little time, if you have to shovel out around your house so it's easier to do this. But take a little time, inspect everything. We kind of take for granted that everything's okay outside. But just take some time and do this and check things out. And you're going to be surprised where that snow piles up. I mean, for instance, my wife and I, we took some time to shovel out around our chicken coop. We have one of these canvas carports that we slide our chicken coop into every winter. And we found ourselves having to get out there and shovel around it. And it took us like 15 or 20 minutes, but it was enough to get us outside and get us out of the house. And it was actually a pretty decent little workout too. But, we didn't rush. We took our time. We kind of enjoyed it. It was a bit windy, but it was something we felt we had to do. And I know it sounds kind of a little funny that I would say to do this, but again, it's just to get out a little bit, just to get outside and break that routine up that you might be stuck inside a little bit. Do a little shoveling around the house. Maybe it's a good opportunity to bust up some of that snow that might be piled up a little bit too much and get rid of that if you can. And it really doesn't take that long. Like I said, it takes maybe 15 minutes. Walk around the house, just give it a good once over, and I think you'll be pretty happy that you took that time to do that. Now this next one is for you pet owners out there. If you have a dog like I do, she loves to be outside in the wintertime. My dog is an inside dog, but if she could, she'd stay out there all day long and play. And I found it really gives me a good excuse to get outside with her. And we don't stay out there long. Like I said, these are like 15-minute suggestions here, and sometimes that's enough. It's enough for her to get out, burn up a little bit of energy. It's enough for me to get out there and have a little fun with her and throw the ball around or throw snow around a little bit. It's just enough for both of us to get outside and get some fresh air, and it helps us both break up our cabin fever a little bit because she's getting it too. Your pets get this too because, there's summertime. They're used to being outside if you're outside, and they like to hang out outside and, smell the air and things. So they get a touch of cabin fever too. And I can really tell that when I let my dog out. She just runs and plays and rolls in the snow, and she just has a lot of fun. So it's important not only for you to get out, but to get your pets out there a little bit too. But be mindful that they're not going to tell you when they're too cold. So, 15, 20 minutes is usually probably enough for them. If you can't get them out and walk them, I mean, you can get boots, but my dog, I wouldn't even try to put boots on her. She probably wouldn't take that very well. So we're mindful of, okay, we've been out here enough. It's time to come in and thaw out a little bit. I find I feel a little better when I'm out there with her and we're just kind of playing in the snow, and, we don't have to do much. Like I said, we throw the ball around a little bit. She just loves playing, and I love being out there with her. And it's just a great way for us just to get outside for a good 15, 20 minutes. Now, if you have kids, winter can be a stressful time. With kids, you can really feel cabin fever once it sets in because your kids are restless, they're antsy. If you've got, 2 or 3 kids, they're starting to fight with each other a little bit more. Every little thing kind of sets them off because they just can't get out and burn up that extra energy. So when you get these super snowy cold days, it really makes it difficult to send them outside. I mean, I remember as a kid, we'd get a snow day and we'd be outside on those snow days. But when you get these snow days and it's 20 below zero out, or, the wind chills are so cold is the reason why they're canceling school, they're not going outside anyway. So they're cooped up just as much as we are. So you gotta take them windows when it does let up a little bit and get them outside too. So that's why I try to find something that we can do together when we do go out, because one of the things that I like about doing something with them, I find it helps me monitor them a little bit as far as how cold they're getting, especially when we're outside and it's, below 20 degrees, because kids can kind of they'll tell you when they're cold, but sometimes it's past when they should tell you that they're cold. I think it's important you keep an eye on that, obviously, because you want them to be safe and you still want them to have fun. But, when we get out there, it's great. It's good family time. We're having fun, and we just try to find things we can do. I mean, we've built snowmen, although the snow we've had lately has just been awful for that because it's so cold. It's so fluffy and so almost grainy that you just can't do anything with it. We've built forts in the past, and forts are kind of fun because, you go outside for 15, 20 minutes, you work on a fort for a little while, and you come back in and you warm up and maybe go back out in the afternoon and work on it again for a little while. So that's an idea that it's not something that you have to get done all right away. It's something you can take your time and build. But we've done some sledding, and with all the drifts we get around our house lately, sledding has been a lot more fun for the kids. We've played some games of follow leader where I'll blaze a trail kind of around our backyard and they play, and you're going to find out that when you're out there with the kids, the time really goes by pretty quickly, and 15 minutes goes by pretty quickly. And I'm not saying you have to just go out there for 15 minutes and be done for the day. I'm saying just, be mindful of how cold they get, and that'll be your indicator on when you should come in. But, this is something you can do, a couple times a day, honestly, if you want to, maybe a little bit in the morning, a little bit after lunch, and a little bit before, it gets dark. But it really helps them burn off that energy that they might have because of being cooped up and not being able to get outside. You're going to find they probably sleep a little better, get a little bit more fresh air in them, and it gets everybody out of the house just for a little bit. They can all kind of, even if they want to go do their own thing in the snow, if they want to each build a fort, they can go do their own thing. It gets them away from each other, and it's just breaks up that routine of being inside all winter long. So get them outside, go outside with them, have a little fun. And you know what? If you've got a little older kids, it's okay to let them go out. If you can keep an eye on them, let them go out by themselves for a little bit. It's not going to hurt them either. Just be mindful of where they are and how long they've been out there. But I say get out there with them, have fun, build a fort, build a snowman, do what you got to do to just have a good time and play like a kid again outside. Now, the one that I always come back to, because it's always the easiest, is to just go for a quick walk. I mean, if you're all plowed out, the roads are clear, you got to be a little bit careful now because the banks are a little bit higher, but just go for a 15-minute walk around your block or in your neighborhood, down the street. Anything that just get you out there. I mean, if you're fortunate enough to live in a wooded area or you've got a little woods behind your house, put on some snowshoes and just go and walk around back there. Usually when you get in the woods, it's a little bit warmer. You're not dealing with the wind and everything, but just go for a little walk. I mean, a 15-minute walk is going to do wonders for your mood, and it's definitely going to break up that cabin fever. And you don't have to be out there very long, but yet you can still be out there long enough to see the beauty of winter and appreciate all this snow instead of cursing all this snow. It might help change your perspective of all this snow that we've gotten. So it's simple, it's easy. I know that, and I say it a lot, but definitely get out there. Just take a 15-minute walk just to get outside, get out of the house. And that's the point. Just getting out of your home for a few minutes, will save you from that dreaded cabin fever. It really doesn't matter what you do. I mean, even if you just go out your door and stand outside for 15 minutes and just listen and take in those sounds, anything to help you get outside and beat those winter blues. Don't let all this snow and cold keep you from getting outside. I know some of you out there, you're the ones that are cleaning your driveways and cleaning your sidewalks, and that's great. But sometimes when you're out there working in the snow, it's not the same thing as taking a break and just having a little fun or having a little time playing in the snow. That's just the way I feel, because when I'm out there, snow blowing my driveway, you're just thinking about, okay, make sure I get this cleaned out so that we can get out and everything's working. And you're just kind of sitting there, or if you have to walk behind, you're walking there, and you can get cold. And I know you're outside, but it's not the same as, when I take the dog out, or when I'm outside with the kids, or when I do go for just a little bit of a walk. It's just not the same, in my opinion, feeling you get when you take the time to just step out of the house for no other reason than to just step out of the house. So if you're able to get out safely, please do it. You'll be happy you did. Your mood will be a little better, and maybe you won't curse this weather so much if you can get out there and just enjoy it a little bit. And when it stops snowing and the temperatures return to normal, you'll be ready to head back out to be one of Wisconsin's outdoor explorers. Thanks for joining me again. I'm your host, Jason, with Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.